Welcome back, everybody. It's Gerald, and I am a Star Wars fanatic. Looks like we got a few people in here, about 9 people. This makes me happy. I'm so happy. I'm a happy person anyway. But there are some things I wanted to talk about today, and I did make a list of those and a little bit of scripting, but not too much. And then we'll get to the fun stuff of just chatting and hanging out, because that's what live streams are for, just chatting and hanging out. I use my regular videos as informational videos and the like and so on and so forth. But in these live streams, I like to hang out with you guys and just communicate, engage, be engaged with my audience because I like talking about Star Wars with you. You guys are all great. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and get started on what I have lined up for us. And if you're new here and you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, go ahead and do that. It helps my channel out so much more than you guys would know or understand. I don't even understand it really. Hey, good to see you, editor DR, Sydney, Biggs, Darklighter, and Bill. I saw you in here, Bill Lowe. Yep, I think that's everybody that's commented so far. All right, so let's get started with it. Okay, Star Wars lore is important. I'm not taking away from that in any means by saying any of this because the Force, lightsabers, and so on and so forth are an important part of Star Wars, but to look back on it, they're not the main part of Star Wars. They're not the main story. These are elements that help bring us to what the main focus of Star Wars should be. And a lot of Star Wars fans get distracted by the flashy stuff, the pew pews and the whoomp whoops and clone armor, stormtrooper armor, Darth Vader, that sort of thing. And we collect the toys and the memorabilia and the merchandise and everything because of the look of it. And we don't sit around in a sandbox and play with them anymore because now we're adults and we just collect them and show them off. As you can see in the background, that my room is becoming more empty, and that is because we will be moving next month, and I've started packing things up. So, forgive me for the lack of decor as it used to be. Um, Star Wars shows nearly all of its characters shifting from one path to one of family or close friendships, transitioning from a place where the characters felt like they never really belonged, leaving the path of boredom or self destruction to ultimately become something bigger than who they previously were. And that's the basis of what I'm going to talk about today. Okay, so I'll go through each movie and series and everything and talk about how that relates to that theme of family and friendship and close bonds, where previously some of them may have been loners or felt like they didn't belong somewhere. In A New Hope, we had Han and Chewbacca being the outcasts. They join Luke and Obi-Wan Kenobi and end up finding friendships and family. Leia being the family part of it. Luke is so desperate to leave Tatooine that he's willing to join the Imperial Academy, leaving the family on Tatooine that he was raised with. Then joins the rebellion instead and finds friendship and a family who cares more for him than whether he can work a farm or not. And if you can see Uncle Owen, he's kind of this stoic guy who just wants to get through the next season. Leia already belongs to the rebellion and a family with the Organas, but her family's killed by the Death Star attack on Alderaan. She finds family in Luke, Han, and Chewbacca, and to an extent even the droids. The Empire Strikes Back strengthens these bonds, and the same with Return of the Jedi. The prequels are about Anakin Skywalker falling in love with Padme and wanting a family. The Jedi Order consistently makes him feel like an outcast, and now that he's away from his mother until her death, he just wants to belong. And in the Jedi Order, he's not feeling that's his place. Palpatine empathizes with his thoughts and convinces Anakin that he can help him achieve the family he longs for, instead of the Jedi who constantly tell him he's wrong to have attachments and feelings. All right, Rogue One. It's about belonging. When Jyn Erso and Cassian Andor were just going through the motions on their own, not really belonging to anything bigger. Cassian, yes, he belongs to the rebellion, but then we'll talk about the Andor series and how that all changed. In Solo, a Star Wars story, Han thought he could rekindle Kira's love for him. Instead, he found a group whose leader would ultimately betray him and set him on a course of only caring about Chewbacca until he meets Luke Skywalker, taking him from being a loner into being one of family and friendship. The Mandalorian, Din Djarin, is a loner until he finds Grogu, then only wants to be a father. He ultimately teams up with the other Mandalorians and realizes the Mandalorians are stronger together, acting as a family unit rather than individuals with individual interests. Rebels, the Ghost Crew. Need I say more about that? We all know what a tight bond they have. Andor, the people of Ferrix and Cassian Andor, understanding that he isn't alone. Brasso, Marva, and even B2 Emo, or just Emo as I like to call him. I know they call him B in the show, but I call him Emo. They are his friends and family, and he realizes this toward the end. That's why he goes off and saves Bix. The Bad Batch, really? I don't think I have to explain that one either. They're all family. The Book of Boba Fett. He throws down his old ways to be a family with the Tuscans, realizing that there's something bigger than what he is alone. Then, when they're slaughtered, he gets revenge for that family and creates another tribe because he realizes he had been alone since his father's death, or even before that, with his father leaving him on Camino to go off on missions. Being the best bounty hunter, you're highly sought after. All right. So, the Kenobi series. A lot of people complain that it shouldn't have been about Leia and so on and so forth. Well, Obi-Wan Kenobi was alone. He didn't really have a family. He found a bond in Leia. That is Obi-Wan Kenobi's side of it. And Leia has her family on Alderaan. And she also finds, Uncle Ben, So they form that bond. Becomes almost familial. Almost. All right, so that leads me to the sequel trilogy. Rey and Finn don't belong in their current lives. Finn is a stormtrooper and he doesn't agree with the goings on in the First Order. Rey being a loner in the desert, and they go off and seek out a new life, having a bond and friendship with Poe Dameron. Rey learning that her actual family, Papa Palpatine, wasn't what she had hoped to find, but Luke and Leia were what she needed. Even though she and Luke were at odds a lot of the time, it was reminiscent of more of a father and his teenage daughter type of scenario. Trust me, I know what that's like. Whoosh. And how many of the Visions episodes are about family and belonging? So many of them. I mean, almost all of them. But when we think of Star Wars, we tend to think of stormtroopers, lightsabers, Darth Vader, armor, the galaxy at wide, the starships, all that stuff. When we think that's what Star Wars is about, well, it's not. If you take away what the actual theme of Star Wars of friendship and family is, then you just have another sci-fi. And as we know, Star Wars isn't just another sci-fi series or series of movies. It's something deeper, and it touches each of us profoundly in different ways. Now, a lot of people don't like the Rey Skywalker bit, and I get that. I understand you're trying to usurp a name and take it on as your own, but if she'd have taken on Palpatine, what kind of negative impact would that have had on her throughout the galaxy? Oh, you're a Palpatine. Oh, Jesus Christ, why do we want to trust in you? We had that guy around for a long time, and he kind of destroyed people. Whew, yeah. So, yeah, that was a little long-winded, and I'm sorry for that. And I'm going to go back to the comments. I had them hidden for a moment. Yes, and Ward, you're right. It's all about belonging somewhere that in the previous you didn't feel like you belonged. There was something, like Ray says, there's something inside of her, something that's awakened. Okay, that's the whole premise of The Force Awakens. The Force is awakening, but also that need for family structure or some kind of bond with somebody. Unkar Plut, whatever the hell his name is, that guy a good family for her? No, he was the guy who was caretaking her. That was about it, and he was kind of using her as slave labor. Yes, the fantasy aspect is important in Star Wars, and I said that in the beginning. It is. I'm not diminishing what that is for us. I mean, what do we collect? We don't collect family members to stash on shelves and stuff. We collect the stuff that's cool looking, the iconic stuff. Lightsabers, two of them right. I can't even point. It's backward. And there's one right there, and there's one right there, and I got another one up there. Um, we collect lightsabers, Darth Vader helmets, such as that one, Bo-Katan helmet, making our Mandalorian armor. We collect the stuff that's cool looking to us, and we fantasize about the lore and what it would be like to be a Mandalorian or a Jedi or a Sith or whatever. And that draws us in, but there's a deeper meaning to Star Wars. And I think to say that the sequel trilogy isn't Star Wars, well, it is. It strengthens that family theme. To say that Kenobi series, oh, it was all about Leia. It wasn't about Obi-Wan. No, it was about Obi-Wan. It was about him realizing that there's something bigger out there than just him. That his poor little life that he's been dwelling on for the last 10 years isn't what it is. That's not the way his progress should go. He should be ready to jump in and help when the time's needed. And that time was now with Leia, helping Leia. And then the time comes again with helping Luke get off Tatooine and away from stormtroopers and the Empire and so on and so forth. You guys are going to have to listen to my chair squeak. I start slouching down a little bit. All right, so let's see. The proof of the Rey Palpatine thing can be seen played out with the distrust people had for Leia when it was discovered that Anakin Vader was her father. Yes, and that shows in the Bloodline novel. How people found out, the one senator lady found out that Leia was the daughter of Darth Vader, and then pretty much Leia was just ostracized in the Senate. Yeah, I mean, it's. I'm not taking a. Robin, I'm not taking away from what Star Wars is at all. Um, and it's a lot of that lightsabers and blasters and starships that distinguish it from, say, I don't know, the Alien movies or the Expanse or something like that. And there's magic in it, and there's magic in the thematic elements throughout, and that bonds us and brings us in. But then the true message is underlying with family and belonging and friendships. Let me see what else y'all have to say. I feel like Boba Fett, it might be the best example of this. Yeah, it's a great example of it because, I mean, it wasn't just an underlying theme, it was an overall theme. I mean, it was present and right there. Getting a little bit of stomach issue here. I'm still reading your comments, sorry. And Barbie Cleary, good to see you. I'm looking forward to Ahsoka. I'm so looking forward to Ahsoka. And a lot of people are saying that Ahsoka is going to be overshadowed by the Ghost Crew, that this is actually Rebels Season 5, and it shouldn't be titled Ahsoka. She's not going to be the main focal point. Well, I have something to say about all of that. I don't believe she's going to be overshadowed, but it's not going to be 100% focused on her the entire time. The camera frames are not going to be on her constantly. That would make for such a boring show. Oh my gosh. If you've read a novel, which I'm sure most of you, or if not all of you, have, then you'd know that there's chapters in novels that don't deal with the main character. They only mention the main character. My best example of this is the Thrawn novels. I mean, you go entire sections of the novels without a mention of Thrawn, where you're talking about Arlani or some of the other senior captains, and even going off into talking about the Grisk and all these stuff. And Thrawn isn't even in it, but then it ropes it back in to be about Thrawn. And the novels are titled Thrawn. So, and nobody really has an issue with that. Yeah, you might be right, DR. I don't know. I just, and my I did a live stream the other night, and it was pretty fun, explaining what my last video really was going for. And that, and let me clarify it. When I said I'm calling out the so-called Disney Star Wars haters, it's not saying that anybody that hates Star Wars that I'm calling out, or any of the new stuff, or anything made by Disney. I'm not calling you guys out. If you don't like it, you don't like it, and that's up to you, and that's fine. That's your opinion, and that's subjective to you. And just don't expect everybody else to feel the same way, because everybody has their own opinions on stuff, and we are entitled to those opinions, and everybody else is entitled to hating it if they want. It's how you treat others that sets you apart from being just a Neanderthal to being a civilized human being. We can have civilized debates. If you look in the comments of that video, you'll see there were some civilized debates going on. There were some really uncivilized ones too, where I had to call somebody out who kept calling me a shill and saying that I was being paid by Disney and all this stuff, when in fact I have proof that that person's brother actually works for Disney. And I mean, I have proof because I've got emails from the guy. And don't call me out if you don't want to be called out, because I'm not paid by Disney. Let me repeat that. I am not paid by Disney. I don't think I emphasized that enough. Disney does not pay me. I say things because it's my opinion. I know that's hard to believe in this day and age, that someone has an opinion, but I do. I have an opinion. And why can I not zoom back out? Because I got that. Oh, I did something stupid. Now you gotta look at my big face. Alright, off. There we go. So you can see how empty my room is now. See that? Yeah. Today I should be getting the box for the TV, so that'll be coming down soon too. Anyways, I'm not paid by Disney. So to respond to that gentleman caller, as it is, I am not paid by Disney. I don't care to be paid by Disney. I voice my opinions, and those are mine. 9 trilogies. Wow. Yeah, who wouldn't want to work at Disney, though? I mean, if they offered me a writing gig, I'd say, yeah, let's do it. I'll write you a Jango Fett story that rivals the old open seasons. And if you guys have watched my fan fictions, you've seen that. And a lot of people say that Andor was not part of Star Wars because there were no lightsabers, no Sith, no Jedi. Trust me, I've had these conversations in person with people, and I'm like, what? How do you say it's not Star Wars? It's in the Star Wars galaxy, and there are stormtroopers, but they're limited. But how do you say it's not Star Wars just because it doesn't have Jedi and Sith? That makes no sense to me. Um, it carries the same theme of family belonging and set in the Star Wars galaxy. Not everybody knows a Jedi or a Sith. Not everybody knows what they are or has even heard of them. So, I don't know. It just made no sense. Exactly, Sydney. Exactly. People need to understand other people have different opinions, and hiding behind a keyboard and a computer screen or a phone or something isn't a way to. It shouldn't be a means for people to be mean to each other and threaten people and act like thugs, because chances are they're just this little dude sitting in their mom's basement peeing in a 2-liter bottle. And yeah, I don't know as much about Star Wars as some people do, and some people don't know as much about Star Wars as I do. And that's just the way it goes. Nobody knows everything. Even Dave Filoni doesn't know everything about Star Wars. You think he's read every Legends book out there? No. I mean, he might read the Legends books that pertain to the stories that he's creating, but I don't think he's read every one. I don't think George Lucas has read every one. So to say that George Lucas is a god and knows everything about Star Wars, well, he created it. He knows what he created, and he knows what he started, and he knows that Star Wars is this vision of his, but he doesn't know what the fans have written. Not all of them. Well, Sydney, Andor was a little bit different. Andor was made for adults, where the magic and all that stuff is made for kids. You guys got to listen to Buddy bark up there. I don't know what's going on with him. He's getting upset about somebody being outside or something. Heaven forbid any of our neighbors ever come home or leave. No, I haven't seen the Lego Cad Bane. See, in my head can the only reason Andor is a Star Wars show is the stormtrooper who shows up every episodes. Well, no, I mean it's building up to the rebellion against the Empire, and the Empire is a big theme in the Andor show. It might not have the stormtroopers lined up like the Empire Strikes Back did, and it may not have the big attacks on different planets the way the Empire Strikes Back did, but it's still in the Star Wars universe, and it's leading up to what we know is going to be the end of Cassian Andor, and that is very much part of Star Wars. Hey, Knut, good to see you, buddy. Yeah, so that's my thoughts on it. And I tried to get my wife to come down for this live stream, but she says she's still too nervous. So when I introduce her, it'll probably be over a regular video that I can edit and stuff to make sure she's happy with the way it looks before I post it. She doesn't want to just come down and be sprung into everybody and going, "Hey, how's it going, everybody?" And be all shaking and nervous. And I think DR, if they did include a Mandalorian in the Andor series, that it would be one. It would be one bounty hunter. Yeah, and I mean, Sydney, you kind of got a point there. I don't totally disagree with you. It it just to me it hit more as okay. I've seen all the Star Wars stuff and enjoyed it as my 4 year old self seeing it, A New Hope or Star Wars as it was called in 1977. I look at all the new series that way. I go in with this fresh mind of a 4 year old that's never seen Star Wars before and just think about it and watch it and enjoy it for what it is. But then Andor came, and right away I was like, okay, this is different. I need to switch back to adult mode. I need to just shake my head, shook me like a dog. I jumped into it and I was like, okay, this is going to be different. And that's how I took it from the rest of the time, where a lot of people still thought of it as, okay, this is another Star Wars series that's going to be a lot like, Book of Boba Fett or something like that. And it wasn't. It was adult. And we should have known that going in after seeing Rogue One, how much more adult themed that was. Um, and even in Andor, there was a little bit of cussing. Whether the galaxy needs the Jedi, the answer is revealed in Andor and Rogue One, and maybe Mando is yes. To an extent, yeah, but if you look back at it, watch the original trilogy again. Yes, Luke Skywalker destroyed the first Death Star, and he was crucial in the destruction of the Emperor. But had Luke Skywalker not been on the second Death Star, the Emperor still would have died. He was still overconfident, and it wasn't Luke that destroyed that Death Star. It was Lando. But Luke was a distraction for the Emperor, and the Emperor couldn't really see what was going on because he was too busy going, "You will obey," and doing all that stuff. So he didn't see what was going on. But it was Lando and Wedge and those guys who actually destroyed the Death Star and made a decisive victory against the Empire. Luke really didn't do much for that at the later years. Yes, and in A New Hope, he did destroy the first Death Star, but the only real person he took out doing that was Tarkin. And you know, as we know, power creates a vacuum, or absence of power creates a vacuum. And with Tarkin gone, it just made other people step up into that role. So you really need to cut the head off and then move on from there. But yes, Luke was instrumental, but he wasn't the sole reason that it happened. Hey, Daniel, good to see you. Think of Andor's world building for the Star Wars universe. We spent most of the existence of Star Wars on film/TV looking at overarching broad strokes, themes, Andor makes it more local. Yeah, exactly. And it takes away from not everybody is a Jedi. Um, and that's the way it should be. We should see stories where not everybody's a Jedi or a Mandalorian or a Stormtrooper or any of that. Some people are just regular folk trying to make a living, trying to make ends meet, and doing it any way they can. And some people have run ins with the Empire, just as some of us may have had run ins with police. Doesn't mean the police are the main theme of our lives, just means they're there and always present. Not that they're bad or good. Uh, sometimes I appreciate the police being there, and sometimes I see the news and I'm like, that police should never have been a cop. Uh, yeah, Daniel, my mother and I have seen every Star Wars movie on opening night since '77, and my mom's a huge fan. I'm surprised she hasn't commented in here somewhere. Maybe she has, and I just didn't see it. Oh no, she didn't. She's out of town. She's in the mountains right now with some buddies. Um, Luke didn't take out the Emperor. Vader did. Um, Luke did take down Vader, um, but the ultimate goal was to replace Vader with Luke. But Vader took down the Emperor. The Emperor was actually, you know, giving Luke a good what fur. I don't get that whole thing. He could have ended him pretty quickly, and he just toyed with him most of the time, and it was really weird. Me, I'd have been like, all right, I'm done with you, kid. But now, gone. Yeah, I'd love to see the new Ray movie with her, and that's why I'm wearing this, the Rise of Skywalker shirt, because I'm tired of feeling like I can't talk about the sequel trilogy because some people get butthurt about it and they're like, oh, no, 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 you can't. And then they unsubscribe and leave nasty comments and stuff just because I have a different opinion than them on one aspect of Star Wars, one tiny aspect that all this other Star Wars stuff we probably agree on or close to agree on. But when it comes to the sequel trilogy, they don't agree with me, so they gotta leave. Okay, well, bye. See ya. I'm not here to get rich. That isn't gonna happen, most likely. Um, I'm here to talk about Star Wars, and Rey is a part of Star Wars, whether we believe it's canon or not. The Star Wars title is on those movies. Yes, Chuck, exactly. Yeah, I don't. And I was talking to my wife about that earlier today. I said, yeah, I lost some subscribers when I talked about the hate and all that stuff and gained other ones. And the ones I gained are the ones I want to keep because they're tired of feeling like they don't belong in the Star Wars fandom because they are not allowed to talk about certain aspects that they love. And I want everybody to talk about the stuff they love. Quit talking about the stuff you hate. It's it doesn't do any good. It doesn't do you any good. Your mentality, your physicality, anger and hate, and I hate saying it leads to the dark side. That's such a cliche, but in real life, it does pay a toll on your mental strength and your physical strength. If you are angry all the time, you're gonna end up with health issues. That's just the way it goes. That's real. That's real world stuff. And I'd rather talk about the things I love rather than talk about the things I hate. I don't talk about resistance for a reason. I and I know a lot of you are going to unsubscribe as soon as I say this, but I don't talk about Visions for a reason. It isn't because I don't like the stories in Visions. It's because I'm not an anime fan. I've watched them and I've kept an open mind with them, and sometimes I'm like, okay, that was kind of cool. And other times I'm like, man, the art style just isn't jiving well with me. So I don't talk about it much. With Resistance, I don't like Kazuto, whatever his name is. I don't like him. I think he's goofy and he's well meant for children. And as much as I go into Star Wars with a 4-year old's mind, I just can't get that deep into character. It just doesn't work. Yeah, the Birth of the Jedi movie, the Dawn of the Jedi, is going to be awesome. Uh, yeah, Chuck, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say it one time. Palpatine's got that Zackley disease. His face looks exactly like his undercarriage. Kitty Kiss Z. Fun fact, I love your channel. Keep up the good work. May the force ever serve you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And I love making videos for this channel. I love talking about Star Wars, and other than my family, Star Wars is my second love. It, I mean, I got a room full of this stuff, and I wouldn't do that if I didn't love this stuff. I mean, this isn't a room full of sports memorabilia, which I do like sports, but I don't love it. It's just something to pass my time and have that, you know, local mentality. Like, yeah, our local team's doing good, like these guys. I got to give a big shout out to the Cincinnati Reds for 12 victories in a row. That is awesome. I never thought I'd see the day again when the Reds were doing good, but they're doing well. Right. And Daniel, that's awesome. And that's the way it should be. If you don't like it, that's fine. Don't like it. That's your opinion. I'm not going to force my opinion on anybody. I will talk about it because I like it, but in the comment or in the video, I always say if you don't like it, that's cool. It's up to you. And you don't have to like it. Nobody's saying you have to love this. But one thing that I don't like are the fake YouTubers who liked the movies when they came out and then switched when they got bad comments and people started unsubscribing. Okay, now you're just showing me you're pandering. You're just telling people what they want to hear and not what you truly believe. Say what you truly believe. Who cares if you have to go work at Walmart or if you have to say, hey, would you like fries with that? Who cares? You're being true to yourself. And that's all I'm saying. Be true to yourself. If you don't like it, be true to that. If you do like it, be true to that. Don't be ashamed of it. Don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid of what other people are going to say about you liking Star Wars. So what? I'm a nerd. And I mean, I got a lot of friends that are sports buffs, and they call me a nerd. And I say, hey, good job. Thank you. I appreciate that. Um, I mean, it doesn't make me less of a person just because I like Star Wars over, soccer or something, or for you in the UK, football. I am close to 30K. I just cannot bridge that gap. I don't know what's going on with it, but that's okay. I like where I'm at right now, and it's been fun, and I'm having a blast doing this stuff. Um, have I played Red Dead Redemption 2? Of course I've played Red Dead Redemption 2. And I can't beat the story mode though because I get so distracted. My ADHD kicks in and I'd rather tie somebody up, throw them on the railroad tracks, throw them in a fire, or go catch an alligator. Uh, Beating the story. It's fun. I love the game. I wish they'd come out with more updates for it. Favorite version of the Royal Guard? The original, the Return of the Jedi Royal Guard. That's my favorite. Why? Because I was a kid when that came out, and it was such a cool figure. I have a couple of the Black Series ones, and I would love to get one of the sideshow versions, but those things are so damn expensive. I've even had to cut back on how much Black Series I've bought. I've just decided to just stick with buying Mandalorians and Stormtroopers for now. Have to get high enough honor before you finish chapter 6. Well, I don't even know if I've finished chapter 3. And I've been playing it since it came out. One of my stepsons bought it for me for Christmas when it came out, and I still haven't beat it yet. I still play it regularly, but I wind up riding around on Cheech. That's my horse. Yeah, I named him Cheech because he's awesome. I have a couple Lego Royal Guards too. Let me see. You can't see it from here, and I don't have the light on, but underneath that Return of the Jedi poster there is the Emperor's Throne battle scene with Luke and Darth Vader, and there's a couple Royal Guards in there. Yeah, I like that setup. And that's one thing I haven't packed up yet is all my Legos because I need to figure out how to do that without them falling apart. I'm going to probably put them in a bag and encase them in bubble wrap. You'll straight up help me finish the game. All right. Well, I'll do a live stream soon playing Red Dead Redemption. I know it's not Star Wars, but we can talk about Star Wars while I'm playing Red Dead Redemption. And editor and DR, don't get too upset if I wind up on top of a building just shooting at people, because I mean, this is my GTA 5. Yeah, I hope when I move, I hope my wife isn't watching this. I hope when I move, I'm able to get a PS5. Um, I do like playing the games on my PC as well, but as you can hear, yeah, I hate this chair. I want to get a new chair, something that reclines a little bit more than just this. I guess I could hang out with y'all and talk like this. But playing video games is kind of hard to do for me, just sitting up straight constantly. I like my little recliner over here where I can play on the TV. Thoughts on the Praetorian Guards from Mando Season 3? I liked them. I thought the little bit with Grogu dancing around them was kind of goofy, but that's part of the child aspect that brings kids into the show. Hey, look at this kid; he can do this stuff against Praetorian Guards. Um, where they killed Paz Vizsla, I thought they were badass, honestly. There are different endings if you have bad or high honor. Well, I tend to be a bad guy, so guess I won't be finishing it. I remember when Bad Batch Season 2 came out, I watched every one of your videos about it. We mostly shared the same vision. I watched it again, and it's better than I had the impression back then. Yeah, when the Bad Batch Season 2 started, I was a little bit underwhelmed. Um, and there are still aspects of Season 2 that I wish would have been touched on a little bit more, such as Omega's background, her connection to Boba Fett, and that stuff. But I have to rope myself back in a lot and say, look, Star Wars isn't about Boba Fett. Even though he's my favorite character, it isn't about him. It's about family. And the Bad Batch does that very well. And, after a couple episodes, I was like, okay, this is actually really good. This is actually really playing into the Star Wars thing. And yeah, and now I appreciate it. And even after a couple episodes, I appreciated it a lot more. Kid Francisco, good to see you. Yes, Paz Vizsla did die a true Mandalorian, and I almost cried during that part. He was kind of my guy, I like that guy. Oh, there you are. Okay. I'm not gonna respond to you, Peroni, because you're kind of a dick. Um, but everybody, I'll let you take on this one. Um, I don't like calling people names, but dude, seriously, grow up. And good morning, Lady Tilana. Oh yeah, I have the Paz Vizsla Funko as well. You can't see it because I put all my stuff away. It's in storage right now. Oh yeah, way to bring down the vibe there, Peroni. Freaking sausage lover. Anyways, sorry about that. I shouldn't let these things get to me. No, I will respond to you. Dude, don't call me out saying I'm a Disney shill when your brother works for Disney. Keep it up, man. Just keep it up and I'll show you the pictures you sent me. Exactly. You can't reason with unreasonable people. They're just ignorant by choice even. That's even worse than ignorance. Um anyway, so yeah, where was I? From a poet, Brian Lucas. Good morning to you as well. I got about 20 minutes left in this. What do you guys want to talk about? Yes, I'm excited for the Dawn of the Jedi stuff. and I expect the theme of Star Wars to continue through that, being family, friendships, feeling and feeling like you're part of something bigger. All right, shake it off. Goosefraba. Goosefraba. And Peroni. Uh, what Disney title? Ah, is A. Just A, not AH. I'm gonna be a grammar Nazi on your dumbass. People got paid for being trolls. I think that exists. I think that exists. I think, maybe Peroni there, he gets paid by, the angry mob, the fandom menace, to come out and try to discredit people because he's too much of a wiener to understand that his own family's bread and butter comes from Disney. Funny stuff. What am I looking forward to most that's coming up? Thank you, Sydney, for that question. Um, the most I'm looking forward to. Actually, the Dawn of the Jedi stuff, because I think that will transition into the Old Republic, and I really want to see some Old Republic stuff. And that's something I want to clarify with a lot of people. A lot of people are hating on the High Republic, saying it's replacing the Old Republic, that they're going away from the old legend stories of the Old Republic and all that stuff. It's not. It's a totally different timeline. The High Republic is roughly 200 years before the Phantom Menace, and it leads to how Palpatine takes over. It leads to how Palpatine comes to be, where the Old Republic has nothing to do with Palpatine directly. Indirectly, yes, and it's roughly the Old Republic's roughly from 25,000 years before Phantom Menace on. Hey, thanks, Hemi Roar. Good to see you, buddy. I'm hoping the Mando season 4 will correct a lot of the plot holes that Filoni and Favreau had to overcome. Hey, I'm not saying the Mandalorian season 3 was perfect by any means. There were obviously some discrepancies in it because of the Rangers of the New Republic being canceled. So they had to formulate something between that. But and but yeah, I think the Mandalorian season 4 is going to do nicely. Damn, brought my chill down. It's funny how trolls and I have similar opinions but go about it completely different ways. Yeah, see? And we can have opposite opinions. It's how you treat other people that defines who you are. And if you act like a big baby all the time, then you're going to be treated like a big baby. If you don't like something and you say, okay, I respect your opinion, but I don't agree, then you're going to be treated as an adult, at least by me. I'm old school, and that's how I do it. If you want respect, you earn respect. The High Republic books, the ones I've read so far, are good. I've read three of them, I think. Light of the Jedi, Into the Darkness, and I can't remember the third one I read. They're all packed up now, so I can't just look at them for reference. Uh, but those three have been great. And there's one that a lot of people complained about, that one character was a rock. Yes, one character was a rock. But guess what? It was a rock. It didn't go around shooting people. It didn't go around doing anything. It didn't even talk. It didn't do anything. It was just like, if I name this Marvin, does it make it a solid character in the story of my life? No, it's just a quartz crystal named Marvin. That's all that Geode dude was. He was just a rock. And he did what rocks do. He sat there. And one part of it is, and Geode just stared blankly. Well, yeah, he's a rock. That's what rocks do. They just sit there. Yeah, and I believe Filoni and Favreau are doing a great job, and uh, I'm glad that Filoni's new title, or over the last year, what did he get named, the creative director of live action or something? I don't know, but I mean that's improved some of the stories significantly. But yeah, I like the High Republic novels. Marchion Ro as a villain is probably one of the better written villains in the Star Wars universe to date. I mean, this guy's ruthless. He's kind of nuts, and I don't ruin it for me because I don't know what he is or where he comes from or what he does. Marvin the Kyber Crystal. Yeah, exactly. Oh man, I'm having fun here. Having fun. Aaron Mamalidi, I hope I said that right. Hey, really enjoy your measured fair takes. Would love to see you on Nerd Theory one day. I think you'd drive some interesting discussion. Um, I'm gonna, yeah, I'm just gonna say that probably won't happen. Totally love Mando season three. It wasn't perfect, but I love Bo-Katan Redemption. Yes, and I mean Bo-Katan had been set up to be the Mandalore since season two. She'd been set up to be the Mandalore since Rebels. Um, to think this new guy that we'd never seen before is going to become the Mandalore when all he wants to do is be alone with his kid, it's kind of hard to swallow. It's a hard pill to swallow. Yeah. So I got a big day. My daughter is having her graduation party from college, so I will be going to that. I'm a Star Wars OG, yeah. And so that means I have to stop and pick up a few things on the way to the little get together. Chuck, you got it right. I don't think that would ever go over so well. My opinions from the nerd guy and the other guy are just so off base, and I wouldn't cower before their greatness. It's something that I'm not. Yeah, I'm too bullheaded for that. I don't. So what if I go down to one subscriber after that one? The droid in the coat. Yeah. Yes, the Mandalorian is a very vague idea. Anyone could be that at any time through the series and really like that. Yeah, it's not called the Din Djarin show. It's not called the Bounty Hunter Mandalorian. It's not called the Grogu show. So everybody wants the focus to be completely on Din Djarin and Grogu. Well, sometimes chapters don't focus on the main character, and the Mandalorian doesn't say it's about Din Djarin. He was the opening character in the series in season one, and he was the focal point in season two, and he's still the focal point in season three. So I don't know why people are having such a hard time with it. Yes, other characters were highlighted in season three, and there were some goofy moments, but it still had Din Djarin not done what he did, none of this would have happened. The Mandalorians would still be scattered throughout the toilets listening to toilets flush from the sewers. Mike's getting low? Huh. Let's see here. Let me check this out real quick. Make sure I don't turn it down on y'all. How's that? Chuck, you're killing me, man. Yeah, I don't have much to say about the guy. I don't know him personally. I just know a few videos that I've seen of him, and I don't agree with some of his views. He does some good stuff, I guess, once in a while. Hey, Endless Rage, good to see you. Okay, cool. You can hear me. Good. I turned up the volume a little bit. Did that help? But yeah, I don't have anything against him or that nerd guy. I don't even know his name. Congratulations to him for his recent birth of a child. I'm glad for that. Everybody deserves family and love, and that's something I wish for everybody is love, just love and peace. But when I'm slighted, I'm not so peaceful and loving. Yeah, I've noticed that too. After I did my review of Andor episode one, I went out searching what other people reviewed it as, because sometimes I have to think to myself, did we watch the same show? But that guy was like, I'm done with Star Wars. I'm done with it. It's so boring and all this. Dude, it was one episode. And tell me it's boring when it opens up with a double cop murder. Come on, man. Too big for his britches. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm glad for the guy finding success on YouTube. That's awesome. Many of us hope for that. That's not why I'm here. But, if it happened, I'd be so grateful and I'd be so appreciative of you guys. And I'd never change who I am for that, because I am who I am. And that's all I can be. Is that a Popeye thing? I don't know. I did enjoy Theory's Darth Vader fan film. I thought that was pretty neat. I've heard some controversy about it, but I don't really care about that stuff. Um, I just know the final product. And that's a lot of what people have a problem with the Disney Star Wars stuff. Look, we started out 1977 through 1983 getting a trilogy. It took 16 years for us to get another trilogy. And between that time, all we had was a shitty droid show, a couple shitty Ewok movies, and that was about it, and some novels. Then, 1999, 16 years after Return of the Jedi ended, we get another trilogy. Well, we had 16 years to build up in our heads what this trilogy is going to be about, what these prequels are going to be about. And for poops and giggles, in 1980, I knew why Darth Vader was looking the way he did. So I remember reading somewhere where George Lucas said he was burned by lava in 1980. So that was the only expectation I had going into the prequels. But a lot of people built it up in their heads what the prequels were going to be about, how they were going to be great and everything. And then they came out and people were like, that wasn't what I wanted. That's stupid. And they got mad about it. Hang on to DR. I'll get to that comment in just a minute. Um, and they got mad about it. So then, okay, 2005, the prequels end. We get the Clone Wars and Clone Wars by Gendy Tartakovsky, or however you say his name, and that's some good stuff. But the sequels come out in 2015, which is 10 years later. It's 10 years to build up what these sequels are going to be like. And not just 10 years, because the prequels went before. So we had 16 plus 15, 31 years to build up what the sequels were going to be like. And there were plenty of novels out there that said what their idea of the sequels were. And a lot of people built that up in their head. Oh, it's going to be about this. It's going to be about this. It's going to be about this. And then they go see it and they're like, what's this crap? Well, I don't like this. This isn't what I wanted. Okay, well, your expectations were a little bit off center. And had they done that, had they done the story from the Legends material, people would have been complaining they stole from Legends, because when The Force Awakens came out, they kind of did that. It was small, but there were people out there saying that they stole from Legends. Okay, so let's go back to your comment there, DR. In theory, said he wanted a post-credit scene in Book of Boba Fett of Ben Solo meeting Luke. I feel like it should have been something with Mace Windu. I don't think there should have been a post-credit scene, honestly. And definitely, I don't know. It's kind of crazy. I'm not focused on Anakin, Luke, and Vader. I like them, and I talk about them, and they are a part of Star Wars, and they do deserve mention, but they are not the sole focus of Star Wars. And to throw that side story into the Book of Boba Fett just makes no sense to me. It didn't make sense to me when Luke showed up in the Book of Boba Fett. I thought, why is this guy here? He's not even going to have anything to do with it later on. And everybody started speculating. Oh, wow, that means Luke's going to show up at the final battle and save everybody. Hope not. And he didn't. Because everybody thinks this Deus Ex Machina needs to show up and save everybody from everything in every show. They got mad that he didn't show up in The Mandalorian season 3. Okay, well, he didn't belong there. Sorry. So Skywalkers don't belong in it. Truth be told, despite all the opposing views, I'd never unsubscribe to you. Well, thank you, Daniel. I appreciate that. And we do agree on a lot of things, and that's how we do. We hang on. What did she say? I love my old phone. This thing sucks. Okay, I'll have to look at that later. Yeah, Boba Fett should have been in The Mandalorian season 3, but I didn't. The way they did it, it would have just been another Deus Ex Machina. It would have been another, here's this character, look at him, yay. It didn't really make sense for him to be in the way they wrote it. People salty that Anakin behaved like a whiny teenager in prequels. Yeah, Anakin is a teenager, barely an adult. Yeah, exactly. I didn't have a problem with the way Anakin behaved. If you watch A New Hope and The Empire Strikes Back even over again, you'll see Luke whined a lot. Luke was really whiny. There was a video meme out way back when, what was it? Funny Junk was a website, and they did this Star Wars rap thing. It was animated, cartoony, and Luke's like Uncle Owen, and they portrayed him perfectly. He was whiny. Luke was whiny. I can't get my ship out of the swamp. I thought you said this thing was fast. So Anakin was whiny. So there's a genetic trait that passed down to his son. Ben Solo was whiny. Character trait that passed down from his grandfather. Leia was bullheaded. That's a character trait that passed down from her father. Yes, Aaron, I would agree with that. There are people that have had great talks about why they dislike certain aspects of Star Wars, and they've been respectful about it. And I can totally respect their opinions on that. I don't agree with them, but I do respect how they feel. But there are those who just deserve to be slapped in the head. I think it was Mike Tyson that said, the internet has, I'm paraphrasing here, y'all using the internet have never had the chance to be punched in the face. Not that I want to go around punching people in the face, that's not my goal, but Mike Tyson would. And got taken away by a cult. I'd be whiny also. That's it. Yeah, Daniel, you remember that. Oh, why you slice off my hand? Hey, Warrior Girl, good to see you. I do have to go in just a few minutes, though, because I have to get myself ready for my daughter's graduation and just have a great day with family. See, family. Another reason I like Star Wars. Hey, that kind of goes hand in hand. I'm a big family guy. I love my family. I love my extended family, and Star Wars is about family. Hey, see that circular logic? See how that worked out? Yeah, hit that like button, y'all. Hit that like button. I got 27 people in here. It's the first spelling, Gerald. I'll reward. I think that's what it says. Oh, rewatch. Sorry. Taking your son's fishing today. Hey, see, family. It's about bonding and being together and being happy in life. It isn't about this anger that's all over the internet. And it isn't just the Star Wars fandom that does it. It's just about every franchise out there that they have their haters and people that, want to bash other people. And in reality, come face to face with somebody and you get punched in the face once, you probably get knocked down. Oh, nice. I haven't seen the new Flash movie. I'll probably wait till it comes out on streaming because I spend way too much on other stuff. Hey, thanks, Endless Rage. I appreciate that. Hey, Aaron, good to see you. You caught me right at the end, too. Do I think it'll become episode 10? No, I don't. I think it'll become more of an expanded universe type thing. And I think that would have fixed a lot of the problems with the sequel trilogy that people have. If they'd have taken away the episodic titles and just made it more of an expanded universe type movies, then there would be less issue with it. Thanks, Warrior Girl. Yeah, I like going into the theater for movies. I just can't afford it all the time, especially right now with us getting ready to do this move and everything. There's so much going on that, I mean, we've got like 15 birthdays until then, and then we've got graduations, and a buddy of mine's daughter's graduating as well, and I'm going to their party next Saturday. Um, so yeah, it's kind of crazy. Yep, endless rage. You're absolutely right. It's just people don't know how to act anymore because they're we call it social media, but it's not really social. It's more like anti-social media. It gives people courage to say whatever they want and then run away and not expect any kind of outcome from it. Um, I treat people with respect regardless if I'm on here on the internet or I'm in person with them. I give them the respect they deserve. And to get respect, you give respect. No, it's not really 15. I mean, we have a lot of kids between my wife and I. I have four, she has two. So we have six kids, and then we have three grandkids. And just got through one of the grandkids' birthdays, got another grandkid birthday in August. Um, then we have both my sons in September and October. So we got a lot of birthdays coming up. Yeah, I love the way Star Wars is working now. I mean, we could go back to the George Lucas era where we get a new movie every 16 years and not get anything. And I know people are going to say, "Oh, so you just want the content and just swallow it up and just eat it." Don't watch it. Don't watch it. You don't like it, don't watch it. It's pretty simple. You don't like Disney, and that's what it seems like most of it stems from is people don't like Disney. Don't watch it. You don't have to. Nobody's prying your eyes open with toothpicks like Clockwork Orange. You have control over what you view. I have control over what I view. I mean, I hope nobody's sitting there on your couch with a gun to your head saying, "Watch Star Wars. Watch Star Wars. What's wrong with you? Watch Star Wars. Love it." Yeah, yeah. I pretty much have first and second string hockey team. All right, I do have to get going. I'm sorry for that, y'all. I said y'all. May the force be with y'all. Man, I do have to get going. I have a lot of stuff going on today, and I really want to be fully present for my daughter in this time because she deserves it. She's worked her butt off, um, and I'm so proud of her and her future. So if she's watching, love you, Corey. You're so wonderful. Yeah, I love that movie. I know it's kind of a cult classic, but it's a good one. Um, and thank you all for being here. If you haven't subscribed yet, please go on and hit that subscribe button. Hit the like button. Let's see how many likes we can get this one up to. It does help my channel. It helps get the word out there. And the more positivity out in the internet, I mean, what's that going to hurt? Is it going to hurt anybody's? Does it hurt anybody's daily life that I like Star Wars and most aspects of Star Wars? No. We go about our day. One guy liking Star Wars, liking The Rise of Skywalker or The Last Jedi or The Book of Boba Fett or The Kenobi Show or any of that, one guy liking that stuff isn't going to make a difference in our lives. One guy disliking it isn't going to make a difference in our lives. It's how we treat each other and how we interact with each other that's important. So putting one more positive channel out there and one more positive video, it may embolden somebody to step up and say, okay, yeah, I'm so glad somebody's saying it that I'm not afraid to like Star Wars around this channel because that's what we're here for. We're a welcoming community, and even the ones that don't like Star Wars, as long as you're respectful, hang out with us. see our point of view, and we'll see your point of view. But I do have to go. So thank you everybody for being here. Like the video, subscribe. Maybe I'll upload this as a regular video or take certain parts of it and make videos out of those. Um, I'm tired of bitching about the bitchers. It's to me it's getting old. um, but thank you all so much for being here. I am Gerald, and I am a freaking Star Wars fanatic. If there's any question about that, time travel back to 1977 and watch my life from then on. Uh, and thank you for hanging out with me today. I forget what I was saying. Remember, this is the way, and positivity in the Star Wars fandom is the only way. Now, watch as I try to